What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Regular Guy Garage. We're gonna pick up this video where we left off last time, which is getting the oil pan on the engine fixed, getting the engine back in the car. Then we're gonna go ahead and dive into this transmission issue. That's pretty much the main reason why I decided, hey, let's just pull the whole engine, transmission as a set, fix the oil leak, but then dive into the transmission because we were having severe issues with it. Okay, so we got the oil pan back on the car. I put a whole bunch of RTV around the front and rear. I mean, I made sure I cleaned everything up as good as I possibly could, put a new filter on, and then I just filled it with oil. I got the engine kind of tilted on a downward angle because this is where the leak was coming from last time. So we are going to let it sit like this for, I'm gonna let it sit like this for a couple hours. It usually only takes a few minutes, but I wanna make sure it doesn't leak. In the meantime, I'm gonna be doing some other things to the car. This front sway bar out because it's just dead weight, and we're primarily doing drag race and stuff with this, so it's not needed. It's just added weight. And then additionally, need to clean up some of the wiring stuff. I want to take like the cruise control cable out, get the rest of that air conditioning stuff out. Pin goes in. All right, so I got the engine back in the car. Just kind of trying to clean up a lot of the wiring harness stuff. I'm gonna get some lume to lume that. It's much cleaner. I took out a couple things that weren't needed in the engine bay. We are looking a lot cleaner here. I'm gonna get the upper intake manifold on, and I'll go ahead and get the radiator back in. I took all the AC stuff out, so I need to get the bracket. I need to take that bracket off and get the bracket to move the, what's it called, power steering pump. Outside of that, I mean, we're looking pretty good so far. So got all of the, I got the distributor hooked up, set to a rough timing spot, basically where it was when I took it out. Got all of the plug wires hooked up. All of the wiring harness ran. It is much cleaner. I mean, as you can see on this side, it's much cleaner. I still have to finish hooking up and then tightening up this side. I need to lume these wires right here, and then tighten basically this side up, and we'll be nice and clean up here. All right, so now that the engine is back in the car, pretty much everything hooked up, headers are hooked up, it's time to start working on this transmission. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna clean off my workbench up here and get the engine up here, or the transmission up here, and I'm gonna take the top plate off, and we will see you know, what's going on inside the transmission. So let me get that set up. All right, so we got the transmission out on the table, have the tail housing taken off. This speedometer gear is actually, the middle teeth are completely worn down, so I'm gonna have to change that. It's also missing a chunk of rubber that's supposed to go there, I think. Yep, it's missing it entirely. There's supposed to be something that goes here, not there. Additionally, I can't get this top cover off. I've been trying for a while now. So I'm thinking one of these shift forks is bent. This shouldn't be this hard to come off. So I'm gonna keep fighting with this for a little bit, try and get it off without breaking anything, but I mean, so far, not looking good. All right, so I am by no means a transmission mechanic. I got the top off. It seems that these pads for the shift forks, they were just in pretty tight. I mean, they seem pretty solid. The shift forks don't seem bent or anything, so that's looking good so far. However, I'm not sure if this is supposed to sound like this. But it does, I don't know, to me, I'm barely turning it. I don't think I should hear like a crunchy bearing noise. But anyway, I'm going to continue to disassemble this thing a little bit further, see if anything is really like out of the ordinary. I am gonna put, you know, like a rebuild kit back into it, and then we'll just go from there. Hopefully I'm not just wasting my money to have the same issue on the back end. I'm gonna leave this together because these have shims in it and I don't want to lose them. Huh. And there go all of those little bearings. This stuff is just supposed to be like you can press a lot of ball. All right, so I am no transmission mechanic by any means. However, at one time I was a machinist, okay? And one thing I do know is that pieces that ride along or that have bearings or whatever, they're not supposed to look like that. All right, so as you can see, the other side is, well, it's got a few spots, but it's supposed to be smooth, and we got some pretty rough spots going on. So I'm gonna go ahead and say this shaft is no good. Additionally, I don't know if these are just supposed to fall off. If they are, I mean, no big deal. I know only a few gears get pressed on, but we'll see. I'm gonna break the shaft down all the way. I don't have a hydraulic press, so if I'm able to break the shaft completely down, then that means that this shaft has some serious problems. So we got the gear set completely off of it. In case you haven't noticed, I don't have a press, and I'm almost positive that these actual gears and stuff, some of them need to be pressed off, but all I really did was stick this little pry bar in with some gentle pressure. It just slid both of the gears straight off, no problem. So yeah, big thing, what I'm noticing with this transmission is this pitted area right here. And I'm almost positive that at the beginning of the video, when I was spinning that spinning the shaft and it was making that kind of crunchy noise, that was definitely basically this area right here. So I'm gonna go back, do a little bit of research on this stuff, because like I said, I'm not a transmission guy. You know, granted, I rebuilt that, what was that, a 4L60E or whatever. This manual seems a lot easier. This was actually super easy to break down. Not really difficult at all. But like I said, gonna do a little bit of research and I'll be right back here in a bit. So as you can see here, where it's basically black and then turning that shiny steel again. So these are pretty much all bad. And so those are gonna have to be replaced. Also, this pin, which goes inside here, I don't know if you can tell, but it's mashed up pretty good. So a lot of things wrong with it. You probably won't be able to see, but a lot of these teeth and stuff are kind of rounded off, or at least not as sharp as should be, which is probably going to cause some issues in the future. So I mean, at a minimum, this shaft is going to have to be replaced. I think they said that the sliders have to be purchased with a new shaft as well. I'm not sure. I was watching a video from Eric the Car Guy. I'll drop a link in. It's a great video on how to rebuild the T5. But yeah, I mean, at a minimum, it's this. And to be honest, if I'm going to be, you know, a rebuild kit, $400, a shaft, who knows how much, plus some of the other little parts that I was going to invest to make this T5 be able to withstand the, you know, little bit of extra power that we're going to be throwing at it. So I was going to go and take this down to a machine shop and have them basically machine this down, weld it, and then remachine it back to the size, the original size. But it has already been done. So this should look like one solid piece of steel, but it's not, because what they did was they machined it down, slid this collar on, and then machined the collar down to the size that they needed. Who knows whether or not that was the right size. So I don't know. I'm gonna look for a new shaft, and to be honest, I don't even know if it's gonna be worth fixing this. It might just be more cost effective to buy a whole new transmission and drop it in. All right guys, as you can see, we got some big decisions to make with the transmission. Been looking into, since I am doing a drag car, just trying to swap this for a C4, swap the T5 for a C4 setup. Most cost effective route is obviously just to put another T5 in it. More than likely what I'm gonna do, but for right now, I mean, we got a little bit of time. I'm still waiting on some other parts for the car too, so just looking into it for now. C4 would be a heck of a lot faster, but I think it'd be a lot more fun to drive, you know, being a stick car, and that's really what I wanted to do, is drive it as a stick car. Anyway guys, thanks for watching the video. If you like it, give it a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe, follow the build. I got a whole playlist up here. If you don't follow me on Instagram, @regularguygarage. As always, thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one.